So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at exercise 32 in Troy Statina's Metal Rhythm Guitar Volume 1. And what we're going to cover here is a thing called enharmonics, which are sharps and flats, along with first and second endings, and also using different fingers for power chords. So yeah, let's get right to it. Okay, so first we're going to talk about exercise 31 because we kind of skipped right over that. And the reason is because it's the same progression as we've learned earlier, except for pointing out there is different fingers you can use for when you're doing that open E5 power chord. You can actually use your middle finger. Now, why would you want to use that? Well, when you got this chord right here, an F chord, you can actually make it a little bit easier going back and forth. Instead of going like this. See, you have to keep moving your hand around. Where this is F, E5 is just bringing that finger down. Just nice and easy, no hand movement. It's all right there. That's really the whole basic idea of exercise 31. So that's something that you can start messing around with. But now let's go ahead and move on to exercise 32. Now what we're going to do is let's just start out by taking a look at the progression itself. So it kind of starts out with it's an E5. And these are quarter notes, so it goes 2 E5s and then a G5. The power chord there at the 3rd fret, E string bass chord. And now we're using our 3 fingers, 3-fingered power chord. And if you remember, it's our root. Here's the 5th tone, and here's our root again. We're just doubling up on that root. So it just goes 1, 2, 3. But you might go E, E, and then you might just say 3 because that's the fret you're on. And then what we have is a couple 8th notes, and that just moves quickly from the 2nd to the 3rd. So if I count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so do that a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again, you can say the fret numbers if you want. Just remember that the 8th notes are on the 2 and the 3, so you got to play those quicker. And so again, I usually, instead of saying 0, 0, I usually say E5, or just say E. E, 3, 2, 3. The rest I just said the fret numbers. E, 3, 2, 3. And that's that first measure. Now what we're going to do is go into the second measure. And what we got there is, again, 2 E5s. Quarter notes for both of those. And then what we're going to do is go to our A string bass chord at the 1st fret, which is actually a B flat. And that is going to be a half note. So if you're looking at the tabs, you'll see a circle around the tabs with the line, and that's a half note. And as you see with the other ones, you got just lines up for the chord notes, and the 8th notes is a line up with a beam and then a line down. So the second measure just goes no. You can go E, 1, no. And you say 1, but you got to really memorize if you're on an E string or A string. Yeah, you can't go E, 1 on the A string. You know, it's going to totally throw you off. You just got to go E, 1, no. And again, I'm saying nope, because when you do a half note, it's good to say that fret number and then say note. That way you don't have to worry about counting and keeping track of the fret numbers. It's two sets of numbers going on there. It can be really confusing. But I'm going to count it out here for you just so you can see how the beats lay. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And yes, this is so easy. You can probably count it out, but you want to get in this habit because later on, when you got more complex music, then you're going to want to say the fret numbers instead of trying to count everything 1, 2, 3, and 4, and so forth. So that's how the first and second measure go. And now what you need to do is play that all together. So it's E, 3, 2, 3, E, 1, no. And see, I don't say E string bass chord, A string bass chord. You just have to memorize that. So again, E, 3, 2, 3, E, 1, no. And then if I count them out, just so you can see how it lays in with the counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, there's that first part. Now what we're going to talk about here is second endings, first and second endings. So if you see in the tabs, you have the first measure, and then you have this line above the second measure, and then it says a little 1 and a 3. So what that means is the first time you go through, you're going to play all the way through the first and second measure. And then in the third measure, you see a line also, and it says a 2 and a 4. So what that means is you're going to, first time through, as we just said, you're going to play measures 1 and 2. And that's second measure, you have that number 1. That means number 1. Second time through, you're going to go through the first measure, jump over the second measure, and play measure 3 the second time around. That's why there's a little 2 above the third measure. And then you go back to the beginning, play the first and second measure. So that's the third time through, and that's why you have a 3 above that. Is your 1 and your 3, meaning you play measure 2 the first time and the third time through. And then the fourth, final time through, you play measure 1, and you jump over 2, and you play 3 on the fourth time. And again, that's why above the third measure you have a 2 and you have a 4. So you play on the second time through and the fourth time through. So it's measures 1 and 2 the first time through, measures 1 and 3 the second time through, measures 1 and 2 the third time through, and measures 1 and 3 the fourth time through. So you're kind of rotating those first and second endings. So now what we got to do is we got to take a look at that third measure. So in measure 3, we're just simply playing the second fret and the first fret. Easy as that. First one's a quarter note. Second one is a dotted half note. So we got to hold that actually for 3 beats. So what we got is our half note, which is worth 2 beats, and a dot is worth half the value of whatever note it's connected to. As we just said, a half note is worth 2 beats. Dot is worth half the value of the note it's connected to. So that means we got to take these 2 beats and cut it in half, which is 1. So that dot is worth 1 beat, but we still have our half note. So half note is worth 2 beats. Our dot is worth 1. So a dotted half note is worth 3 beats. So it's really, really important. You don't want to cut that off too early and make it sound like it's a bomb, or cutting it off too early and going right back into the beginning way too early, and then you're all off time. So you got to make sure this is 1, and then when we hit here, it's going to be beats 2, 3, 4, 3 beats. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we do something a little bit different here, though. Instead of using these 2 fingers, we're going to use these 2 fingers. Now, you may have used these 2 fingers when you're first working on power chords because it's hard to stretch down here and stretch that 3rd finger. It's easier up here. When you get down here, it could be really hard, so you may have used your pointer and your pinky. But for different reasons, like 3-finger power chords, playing full bar chords, you want to get used to using these 2. However, there's certain times, like this, where you're going to want to actually use these 2 fingers. So now what we do here is we add in the first measure. Now, if I were to use my other fingers, I would have to lift all these up. Now my fingers are not touching the strings at all, so I'm kind of like starting from ground zero. Then I gotta place them back down and then hit it. And you see, you could mess up right there. So most of the time you probably hit it, but you could make a mistake there. So here's something that can kind of make it a little bit more accurate and a little easier on you. So you go. Now I'm going to want to lift up that 1 finger, but my pinky I can keep on that string. And then this is sort of like an anchor. And then all I got to do is move that pinky down and place my pointer down. So your pinky is already on the string it needs to be. You're not starting all the way from ground zero again. You go. See how my pinky just moves down? This is the finger that moves. So that's something you're going to have to practice to get it down really well. No, no. Or you can also say 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. Again, or you can say no, no, like we talked about. So there you go. That's why sometimes it's better to use that pinky for your power chord. Now, so again, basically what you're going to do is play 1 measures 1 and 2 first time, 1 and 3 the second time, 1 and 2 the third time, and 1 and 3 the 4th time, like this. Here's 1 and 2. Here's a 1 and 3. 3, 4, 1. 1 and 2, I should say. That was 1 and 3. And there you go. 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 2, 1 and 3. And that's how that works. Now, practice that. You definitely want to practice that. And then finally what we want to do is look at something called enharmonics. So hopefully you know where all your natural notes are. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Hopefully you got that down. If you don't know any of that, then learn your natural notes on all your strings. That's something you really want to learn. But we got E, F, and G. But what about this note? This is a note also between here. So we have to name that. And this is what we call an enharmonic. This is a, if we go take this F and we move up, we call it an F sharp. If we start here in a G and go down, we're going to call that a G flat. Same note. This is an F sharp and a G flat. One note with two different names. And best way to remember this is first thinking of the going down. It's the flat. By the way, a sharp is the number sign. Flat is like a little lowercase b. And so if we look at going flat, going down, we can think of is when you have a flat tire, it goes from, nice and full of air, and then the air goes out, it goes down. So you end up with a flat tire. So you think of that, and then it's going to remind you, oh, that goes down. So if you know that goes down, you know sharp has to come up. So again, you're going to use going up is sharp, going down is flat. But at first, you want to make sure you just kind of say both of them because you want to get used to this. So you got E, F, then you got F sharp or G flat, then there's G. We go up, that's G sharp. Or we for an A, go back down, that's A flat. Then we got A, go up is A sharp. If we go down, it's B flat. Then we got B. There is no B sharp or C flat. Remember, half steps between B to C and E to F. So B to C, goes straight over. C sharp or D flat. D sharp or A flat. And then, E flat. D sharp or E flat. And E. And finally, F. There's no sharps between E to F. So E, F, F sharp, G flat, G sharp, A flat, A sharp, B flat, B, C sharp, D flat, D sharp, E flat, E, and then F. And then it works the same way over here. A, and here's something you want to keep track of. A, kind of use your imaginary fret because that can make you visualize a lot better. If you go like this, you'd be like, what is that note? But if you pretend there's a fret here, that's A. We go up, it's going to be A sharp or B flat. Then B, straight to C, C sharp or D flat, D sharp or E flat, E straight to F, F sharp or G flat, G sharp or A flat, and A. So yeah, these are your sharps and flats, and they're called enharmonics. They're one note that have two different names. All right, so let's take a look at these chords within our progression. So we got our natural notes are again E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So here's our E. But then when we went over to here, right here, to this chord. And that's not an E, F, or G. It is an F sharp. So we got an out of key chord. And then we have is that within our key of C? No. We have A and B, B, C, and so forth. We flattened that. So this is actually a B flat. Technically, you could call it A sharp too, but we really we'll call it a B flat. That's just the best way to do this particular chord. So all the chords are within the key of C, except we have a F sharp in there, out of key chord, and the B flat. And we can actually kind of look at this as a whole different key too with some of these chords, but that's jumping too far ahead. So what I would say is, again, work on the progression, get that down. You know, make sure you got the first and second endings and everything going good, and you're holding that dotted half note for long enough. And then also make sure you work on those enharmonics. Just E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B. Actually, I first say both of them. E, F, F sharp, G flat, G, G sharp, A flat, A, and get that down. Do this on all the strings. Get that down really well. And then, really what you do later on, you can go like I just did earlier. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And then, that's going up, and then you see flats when you go back down. That'd be the next thing to work on, is saying sharps going up, flats and going down. E, E flat, D, D flat, C, straight to B, because B to C is a half step. B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, and then finally our E. And it works the same way on all the strings. So yeah, you want to get to know those notes in between. So that's it. That's it for this lesson. A lot of stuff crammed in there. So yeah, put some work into that. Get the progression down. Get some of these concepts down. And then yeah, you just keep applying those as you move along on the riffs, songs that you play and everything. Start to recognize this and use it. Rip the pieces of music apart and analyze it and try to figure out what's going on. That's going to make you a much better player. So that's it. Have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we will see you in the next one. All right, have a good one.